Okay, buddy. Oh, this is a lovely way to start the morning. We left you last night. Hello, my boy. Just rolling down behind. Because I'm rolling, I'm talking a little bit more. Hello, my boy. Hello, my boy. Yes, hello, my boy. It's okay, mate. It's okay. This is our beautiful, our friend Madiba, and he left us last night. He hasn't moved much. He must have been just chowing his food all morning and around this area. He was great, wasn't he? Do you know what? I'm not going to follow him this morning. I just want to let him be and let him feed. We had a great moment with him last night, and let's maybe just let him be and have his breakfast this morning in his own time. But he was a great animal. He's given us some incredible experiences, been up very close and personal with us, and it just goes to show you that when you build some trust with an animal, they definitely are not fazed by us at all. He'll be hanging around this area, and we probably cross paths later on again, but he's only moved a couple of 100 meters, probably about 300-400 feet, 500 feet from where he was when we left him last night, so he's been around this area. That's a nice way to start the day, folks, isn't it, hey? An elephant in about 11 minutes. We'll try and find some more elephant today. I'd love to see some more of the breeding herds. I haven't seen that broken tusk female for quite some time, which is great. I mean, when I say it's great, it'd be great to see her. I mean, it'd be really lovely to see her. We'd love Pete to find a leopard today. I think that'd just be what a beautiful send-off. Great. I'm just getting some feedback from Alex, who's directing this morning with Alex, two Alexes in the control room, and Scott and Mark are on location as well, giving a hand, getting Jigger up and running. It's only a very small in-jigger, and those little injuries do occur when you're driving through the bush. So they've got it under control. Pete and Scott and Mark, they'll have Jigger out very. But Alex is just informing me that the signal's quite good here, so that's great. After this, the last 7 weeks being here, my interpretation of the word signal has changed very greatly. I'm never going to listen to the word signal then when someone says it in such a way that I use it. It's really everything for us out here. I'm going to leave the car running for a little bit. It's a good practice to just drive up, leave the car running, and it doesn't become too much of a sudden arrival. Fantastic. I just got word from Alex that Jigger, Pete's vehicle, has been fixed and is powering up right now and will be out on the road very shortly, so that's brilliant. But in the meantime, while we're waiting to say good morning to Pete, we've got this beautiful bull giraffe in perfect condition, and he actually could be ruminating right now. Isn't he magnificent? Beautiful markings. Beautiful coat pattern. Just sitting on Twin Dams Road at the moment, heading towards Twin Dams, but I'm going to take a little turn off and go up and have a look at Treehouse Dam because it's always a great place as well. But let's sit with this boy for a little bit. I can't see the females or that beautiful little calf, but this guy here is one fine animal. He's probably going to cross right in front of us now, and we'll just let him do that. Really important, folks, to immerse yourself in the philosophy, and I know so many of you know this anyway, but we're here to observe these animals in their environment and not to change their behavior. The whole goal is to try and get to a close distance to them, that we have a fantastic encounter. If they start to dictate the moves and come closer to us, then that's something that we have to observe and take into account and manage that risk if there is a risk. We believe that we try and put ourselves in positions that are not threatening to the animals, and if they want to come closer to us, then they can. And I think that is the key goal of the whole exercise, is to observe these animals behaving as naturally and as we can. And from what we know and all the research one can read, you try to learn as much as you can about animal behavior and pick up the signs and the signals if they are not enjoying your company, so to speak. So at the moment, this boy looks like he's pretty unfazed by us sitting here. He's and it's quite obvious, you know. There's either a fight or a flight syndrome, that the animal will either show his or her displeasure by giving you signs and signals to say, look, you're too close, or they'll just run. And that's not, we don't want to be in either of those positions. Sometimes, you know, there's a couple of little instances where you will get individuals, for example, in an elephant herd, and you'll be sitting with the elephant herd, and as long as those matriarchs are, the matriarch and the rest of the herd are comfortable with your presence, the youngsters, the teenagers, they sometimes do a little sort of display, a little head throw at you and throw their weight around and just sort of do what they're going to do in their future life to protect each other, but there's nothing in it really. It's just them being a little bit rambunctious and just showing their teenage years, really. So, you know, there's a couple of little situations like that. Hippo will also do that in the water. You get youngsters that'll start to just display and do a few things like that, but there's nothing really in it. It's as long as the adults are happy in those situations, then you know you're doing the right thing. But the youngsters will just display a few times, and it's completely fine. But this animal in front of us is definitely ruminating at the moment. So he's actually regurgitated some partially digested plant matter, and he's chewing it over again. You can see that sort of bolus, or that lump of rumen in his mouth there that he's chewing over, and it's a definite grinding pattern of those molars at the back there, re-grinding that food before he swallows it again. The really interesting thing is that bolus, or that plant matter that he's eaten there, then bypasses that chamber of the stomach that called the rumen, and goes into the next chamber. It's quite incredible. The ruminants have a several-chambered stomach, 4-chambered stomach, and that is a really efficient digestive system. But that rumen that they're chewing over now will bypass that first section of the stomach and go into the next. But he's definitely a great looking animal, isn't he? Isn't that coat pattern just incredible? It's a beautiful shot, Jason, just to see that sort of contrast to the giraffe's pattern. Okay, I've got a question coming through. Fire away, control. That's a great question. There's several people on Twitter and on email asking about how one identifies giraffe. There's definitely individual coat patterns, and that's the first way. And then you'll start to, when you get more familiar with individuals, you'll start to see that they've either got, you know, a mark on their horn or on their face or on a tear on their ear or something like that. And, you know, you've got loads of different ways other than the coat pattern. But the coat pattern is the first and foremost. And they'll all be individual coat patterns. And you can just pick one marker. For me, on this one here, this bull, we just go down, Jason, down, and we stop on the shoulder there. There's a little triangular, so just there, right? There's a little like map of Africa. See that one, just sort of second mark up from the bottom of the screen there. Little map of Africa I get from him, and I picked that. I'm just going to try and put my, I don't know if I can put my little pointer up to show you. It's just, yeah, if you just come back, Jace, that's great and unfocused. I'll just put my little pointer to the mark I'm talking about. It's just, okay, Jace, that's good. It's that mark just there. You can see, looks like a little map of Africa. It's right there. And that's the marker that I would use on this individual. And if we come up against another giraffe, we'll show you that it hasn't got that particular mark. So for me, and you know, it depends if I can see the left-hand side of the animal. So sometimes a neck marking is good as well, because you always can see the front of the neck. So underneath, but I've noticed that little African map on this bull several times. He's really, really stunning, isn't he? He's a great-looking animal, and I know I've probably said it many, many times, but that neck gets up to 2 meters or about 7 feet long, believe it or not. They are one of those animals that you look at in anywhere in the world. You look from anywhere in the world into Africa and just have to sort of think to yourself, yes, nature has really designed quite an extraordinary creature here that has carved out a beautiful niche, and it exploits a vegetation band or an area of the flora that not many other animals can exploit other than elephants. And they've really got a great little pocket or niche there that they can survive on. Predominantly browsers. I have seen giraffe reach down in times of drought and pick up a bit of grass because there wasn't any other vegetation, or not a great deal of vegetation around, but they 99.9% browsers, and you wouldn't hardly ever see them bending down to do that. If you do, you might be seeing them bend down to eat the tender young shoot of a particular species that they do find very, very palatable. And I do need to get past you, my friend. So I want you to either make a decision. We've got a great question from Dina in Michigan. And Dina, welcome aboard. Great to have you, and thanks so much for joining us. Look at those horns just sticking out the top there. I'm just going to pull up a little bit closer to see it. Dina in Michigan, welcome to you. And being studied widely across Africa. There's a fantastic organisation that I support hugely called the Giraffe Conservation Foundation, run by a very, very good man and his wife and team, Dr. Julian Fennessy, who I'd probably say is one of the world's experts on giraffe. And you can have a look at their website online. It's a beautiful website. It's got loads of information about giraffe, and it gives you a really good insight into giraffe and what is going on with giraffe in Africa.